was in the Waltham Abbey Swallow Hotel.
Yeah.
And Mad Dog and Julian Dix came along because we're getting a free meal. So I put it on West Ham's tab. So obviously Mad Dog and Dixie come along, just for a little Coke, shall we say, as in the drink.
Yes.
And a bit of food. And I was like picking their brains, like, and we played Leicester. And I was going like, what the West Ham fans like? I know what they're like, but like, what do they want? Like, what do they like? And Mad Dog just went, listen. He went, if you're having a bad day, he went, just get wired in. And Dixie went, just go in. You know what Dixie's like? Just go and launch someone first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Said the fans will love you, even if you play crap. He went, you won't. You'll be fine. But if you play crap, just start launching people. West Ham fans will love you. Well, my God, Mark Draper had me on a piece of string, and I launched him twice and got sent off. Literally, I was in digs with his son Jamie.
Yeah.
So Harry used to ring Jamie 3 or 4 times a day. Them two were like really, really close. And I was in digs, and obviously I'm sitting there and Jamie's taking the phone calls, and Harry was cute, like, put Hutch on. Just put Hutch on the line for a little minute. And he'd go, Hutch, you'd love it down here, Alvin Martin, Julian Dix, Mad Dog, Kenny Brown, great young lads as well. Like, you enjoy yourself down in London. Like, sold it to me. You sold more London to me than actually West Ham. You're going to love it down here. And I was like, no, Harry, like, I'm happy at Liverpool. Like, I'm just, I'm happy. And then, like, and he just kept chipping away and chipping away and chipping away. It was the Premier League at the time was a drinking culture.
Yeah.
Everyone had it. Arsenal had it, with their famous boys. And they used to drink in Hornchurch at the Checkers. And we'd gone on a Sunday and gone to Checkers one afternoon. We'd see...
Still there. It's the stupidest little pub in the world, isn't it? In the middle of...
I can remember because I used to stay with Jamie, who used to live... Harry was in Emerson Park on a flat.
Yeah.
And I used to stay there on the couch.
That's literally about a minute up the road from me, the Checkers,
and me and Jamie used to walk out of there at something like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think Neil Ruddock might have joined us or whatever the time. And we'd walk along the Checkers and we'd see Tony Adams in there and Ray Parlour and Merce. And we used to have like a great time. I remember one Christmas party and we hired some place up London. Couldn't tell you where we were. Couldn't even tell you who had the armband at the time. And at the end of the night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, everyone tries to figure out how to get home. And everyone was Hornchurch, Romford, sort of Essex. Everyone was this sort of way. And for whatever reason, John Moncur took all his clothes off, seen a lorry, and just gambled on the lorry would be going back to Essex. And he got on the back of the lorry. We didn't see him till the next morning. It was halfway like around the M25 somewhere. Could have been gone anywhere.
But every John Moncur story does end in John being naked.
Yeah, it was his thing. It was Monks' thing, like, get me top off, get me kecks off. That was Monks' thing.
Did the job. Yeah. Did you deliberately target any player to flatten them before the game? Kinda. We sort of said Martin Allen told you to go and just tackle someone.
Yeah, I mean, you had to be careful in the 90s because it was you had to be smart, because if you went in what we call an honest tackle, you would get legs broken in the 90s because the tackles were just outrageous. Now I've done a million myself. I mean, I've got an amazing picture of me 2 foot and Emmanuel Petit when I'm playing for Everton against Arsenal when the red misters come down, a little bit like the Mark Draper one when I got sent off early on for West Ham.
Yeah.
You had to go, and when you were going in with players that were tough in a tackle, you had to make sure you went higher than them.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is go in honestly and break your leg. You're no good to no one. Yeah. So unfortunately, that was the day. The 90s was like, if you've got to go high, you go high, and that was the nature of the beast at the time. But not really targeting anyone, but you had to be careful when you come up against certain players.
I can imagine. I'm
trying to think of the Australian. Who was the Australian that played? I think for Millwall.
Tim Cahill.
No, right back, and he broke a few legs. He'd done a few careers, and he was a manager. He's a manager now, and he's the one where I thought, if I could go back and do someone for, no, I would, because he broke a lot of players' legs.
Yeah.
The names on the tip of my tongue. He's a manager in Australia. He's a right back.
Well, someone in the chat must know. Mark in the chat. Someone must know.
He was vicious. He was proper vicious.
Was it Kevin Muscat?
Yes.
Kevin Muscat.
Muscat. That's one. Kevin Muscat. Point
per bottom.
Yeah, him and Ben Thatcher were the two where you thought, be careful with those two.
Yeah.
I would imagine if you'd done an interview with any single or every ex-West Ham player, they will all tell you under the lights, nighttime game, Upton Park, magical.
Yeah.
Like special.
Every one of them from Brian Deere in the early 60s all the way up to Pedro Obiang was probably the most recent player, and everyone talks about that. You know,
I don't think we know why. I just think there was something in the air. Maybe the fans were a little bit different after a hard day's work and had let their hair down, and maybe everything. And the chicken run was lively at the time. That was, you had to make sure you'd done a little bit by the chicken run, otherwise you'd get absolutely hammered down that side. So it was just nighttime games, the floodlights on, just brilliant.
What was that chicken run like?
Oh, I got it once, and I was quite lucky. I didn't get it too many times, and I can remember the game. And we played Chelsea in a cup game, and we lost the game. And the last goal that we give away was all down to me. It was my fault. And someone's went down the right-hand side for Chelsea, and they've put a cross in the box. And David James is sort of standing in front of me. Obviously, we're kicking that way. JMO's sort of where you are, and we're going that way. And I've checked my shoulders, and the cross has come in. And I've gone like that. No one near me. I've literally chested back at David James. Gianfranco Zola, who must have been about 2 foot tall, was down by my ankles. I didn't see him. He's nipped in and scored the winner. And I was playing on the right-hand side, just in front of Schemmel at the time, right by the chicken run. My God, I got nailed. Like, brilliant. Like, nailed, hammered, abused, everything.
The lot. You got both barrels.
Yeah, the lot.
Both barrels. Oh, God, funny place. All
the Alvin Martin stories come out then. The stories come out about, one night in the Archers. Is the Archers still going in Romford?
The Archers, yeah. Gideon Park. Yeah. On the
sort of right-hand side. Well, there was one session in there, and everyone was in there. But the main characters were in there. So Trevor Morley was in there with Bish. I was in there. Kenny Brown was in there. Alvin Martin was in there. And then all of a sudden, we were playing pool. And I think it was Ian Bishop that nicked.
He told the story.
I've heard the story. The black ball or something.
Yeah.
And Alvin Martin ended up chasing him. And they were missing for about an hour. And then they come back in the bar like 2 hours later after chasing each other around Romford for about 2 hours because I think Bish nicked the black ball or something, or the white ball or something mental.